Okay, let's have some modeling fun. So let's do the cylinder. Let me just reset this cursor here. Let's do the cylinder here, and let's go with 100 verts. We want this to be dense because we're gonna be having some fun. Let's pop a loop here in the bottom. Select that QLT macro. So this is gonna be with hard ups. Move it out. Then we're gonna grab the top and scale it. Shift Z. We're gonna pop it lower. I think it's a bit too tall. There we go. This could be a bit thinner maybe. So Control plus and make a bit thinner, but not too thin. And here we're gonna need some loops as well, because we're gonna need dense geo. We don't need loops here because it's flat surface. We're gonna nuke this one and run a bevel here. It's gonna be dense, peachy. We're gonna run a chamfer here, but I'm gonna grab this edge here, S-Shift-Z, and scale it in to create this kind of like a lip. Maybe this is too. Let me see if I can change the width of it with the mesh machine. Yes, I can. I think this might be enough. Maybe it's not steep enough. Maybe just drop it down a bit. There you go. Kind of like a, machined edge here. Let's pop this in and, drop it down. Good. Maybe this should be a bit thicker, so Alt S. There you go. And let's pop a bevel on it, but a thin one. If you add a thin bevel, it's going to look a bit more mechanical, right? Now we're not catching this edge here. It's not steep enough. There we go. Let's make it 30 degrees. So that's going to work. And now I want to run some cuts in it. So let's grab another cylinder. But we're going to drop it to 60. I don't think we need more than that. And let's scale it. Move it in here. Scale it a bit more on individual origins. Make it taller, but don't make it go through. And we're gonna apply scale and add some loops here. Okay, we could add actually a bit more of them just to make it squarish. Yeah, just make it dense, don't worry about it. And we're going to rotate it on cursor. So RZ, rotate it here. About 30 degrees. You can check it in here. If you go to items or in panel item, you can see the rotation here on Z. And we're gonna mirror it to the other side like that. I think that's gonna be good. And difference, right? So we can adjust the thickness of this. I mean, I think this should be a little bit deeper, Control plus F and drop it down a bit. And we can adjust these as well. So, have a scroll and pop them down a bit, yeah? And we're gonna apply it. So, Alt click here, and now let's fix it. So click Alt click here on this edge. And, technically what you want to do is you want to run a boolean cleanup, but we can do it later. We're gonna run the offset cut with a mesh machine because reasons, and we're going to scale it down. We're gonna smooth it, and we're going to scale it down a bit more. I don't want it to overlap with this edge here, so I think that's good. Yeah, smooth it on, that's good. That's gonna help. And optimization, I think we can turn it off. But if you turn it off, you're gonna have more edges, but that's fine. And then we can run the bevel on it, it's okay. So let's run the bevel on it. How are we looking? We're looking good. And then click Alt click on this one, and we can clean up this nonsense. So boolean cleanup with your mouse, scroll it up, so you can switch to this to the outer layer, because scrolling mouse you can switch between sides, yeah. And scroll until you will see all these squares being highlighted and all the reds being gone, which should fix all the issues. This is gonna be a bit problematic. I would we could add another another loop here, or this one's a little bit close. We could just move it a little bit, here, just a little bit, right, to fix that. and we're good to go. Now we can Alt exit to the other side and Alt exit to this side, and we're good to go. And then just check if you have all the edges. Everything is fine. All is peachy, okay? All is peachy. We lost an edge here on this side, so in order to do it properly, what you want to do is Alt X to this side and turn this off, so the edge is going to be preserved. And same here. You want this edge here in the middle, because otherwise you'll lose the curvature of the bevel, right? And there you go. And see, like, because we have this denser mesh here, we don't have any problems with shading. So that's how it's done, okay? Okay, so here we're gonna run a chamfer. I'm gonna have something fun, okay? So chamfer here, can make it a bit thicker. Let's insert this chamfer, right? And then Alt M macro and push it in like this, right? Maybe not as much. So Alt S up a bit. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this edge here and Control X to dissolve it. And this one, I want to flex it. So what we can do, so what we're gonna do is we're going to same here, by the way, we're gonna nuke this. So we delete that edge. In fact, delete the verts and then select these 2 and 2 and here 2, delete the verts and select this one easy, right? And then we're going to align them and then press 2 to bridge them, and you got this, which is kind of cool. Right, and we need a sharper edge in here, so this one should be dropped down. So align it here and boom, right, you got this interesting kind of a lip here. Cool, so that's that. And now what I want to do is I want to create a thread in here. So let's just run another actually, you know what, we could run a loop here in the middle. Select that and run. We don't need it to be so deep. And we can run a thread here with machine tools. You have to have it enabled for this to work. You could also do it with hard ups, just saying. Okay, there's a bit of a thread here. What's going on here? Let me just weight it normal this, there we go. And this should probably go to the top, to be honest. So maybe let's nuke this one. Let's run it to the top, so one more time. There we go, that's better. And you know, we can fix this issue here probably by fixing this edge. This is just simply too close, yeah, so until it stops interfering with the bevel, because you know the issue here is the bevel, right? So it's just too big for it, you know what I mean? See, like stops here, so let's just grab these and dissolve them, yeah. So dissolve verts, and then what we can do is do this. It should be fine. There we go. So that will work, and we don't need this sharpen situation here. So let's unsharpen this. So select everything and Shift Control click on sharpen. We still have a double edge in here. I don't know why. Just dissolve this. That's clean. Cool. More or less. Alright. And then we can have some another detail here. And oops, an Alt M macro. There you go. And then we can create some, you know, some elements here. So we could just insert this and elevate it here and chamfer this, and we could mirror this to all sides. And in addition, we could pop some screws, right? So let's insert this and extrude it. Cool. And screws I'm gonna grab from a different blender. I'm gonna grab Master Xeon inserts for keytops. You can get them for free on Gumroad, by the way, and install them with free version of keytops. And it's gonna work. This one looks cool. Add insert. Let's copy this pop it in here. And you know what we're gonna do is just simply Shift S and two face, and we're gonna move this one to cursor, scale it in, go to edit mode, select everything, Alt H. Sometimes there are hidden things inside. Move it in here, and let's just pop it in so it sits here like that. I'll pop a bevel on this. You don't really need sub D on this one, it's fine. And we're gonna mirror to the all sides. So Alt X, hold Shift, and mirror to both sides. And there we go. And we could have something in the middle here. So select that and Shift Curve Extract, pop it up, and Shift S, and let's just switch it to individual origins, make it smaller. We could actually apply this and, you know, maybe add, I wonder if bevel wouldn't be an interesting change of dynamics. Maybe not, maybe chamfer. So chamfer this and pop it higher here like this. And could run this thread in here too. Right? And I think we're good to go. Insert this. This could go all the way down like that. There we go. And we could pop some cut on top of it, you know. So let's just run the box cutter here. And let's just run the cut in here in the middle. So hold Alt. Okay, then GY and OX, move this cutter in here. And then we're going to cut it up like this, shift click, and then move it to the top. And then we're gonna rotate it on the cursor. So array this, Control click here and press X. Okay, let's apply the rotation. And where's the cursor? Oh, cursor is here. Shift S and to origin. And one more time. And I want 3 of them to break the symmetry of these 4 screws. And we can make them smaller, you know. So I have a scroll, they're a bit too big. So let's just go to edit view and SY. And I want it to be thinner. There we go, that's much better. And we have a bevel on this, that's cool. I like that. That's looking pretty good. And we can add some supporting loops here to, you know, combat the shading problem. So we don't have to do anything else. And, you know, that's it. And now we can just pop some textures, which is gonna be fun. Let me see that. I'm gonna be using our new feature of Material Works, which is gonna, you can add decals and trim sheets. If you wanna snatch it, grab it on our website. It's a fantastic addition to this add-on, our new alpha feature. So let's go to maths here. Let's maybe go to cycles. There we go. Let's pop some lighting here, so maybe simple. And let's pop some matte on this. So I'm thinking maybe half matte steel, or let me go to metals. Machine steel could be also interesting. Let me switch to ground gradients. Let's see. We could make it less reflective. That's kind of cool. This could be the same color. So copy. And the screws, I mean, they could be the same color too, to be honest. Right. This could be different though. This could be like, you know, graphite steel or something. Maybe less shiny as well, kind of more on the matte side. There we go. And this could be shiny plastic or whatever. Maybe some different lighting. The simple one. Oh, this one is kind of cool. And then we can add some trim sheets, you know, just for fun. So we could, for example, run a trim sheet here on this. So D and Let me just turn on a box cutter. There we go. And we could run some trim here. Something interesting. Maybe this one. There we go. And we could definitely run some trims here on top. So in here, maybe something less complex. Actually, that looks pretty cool. There we go. And we could also have some decals, you know. So we could slap something here, for example. Maybe this could be interesting. G5 valve. You know, just pop it in. There you go. I think we're done. We could have something on the top as well here. Maybe not a trim sheet. Something really simple. Like this, for example. So then let's pop some camera. And let's lock it to 135. Let's change the ratio here because it's messed up. And lock to view. And let's just adjust it. Maybe something like this. Make it bigger. We could take this one and, you know, put it somewhere here on the ground. But we could make it even larger. So hang on, let me unlock this. And what we could do here is inset this and extrude it. And run some trim sheet in here. A bit larger one. Or like this, for instance. Right? We could put it on the floor. So don't have to be super precise. And then G, Shift Z and move it somewhere here. And then maybe, you know, duplicate it and have two of them. So the space is filled. And we can have some, you know, some space here for maybe like this. Okay, and this is a bit dark, to be honest. We could kind of brighten up a bit. So let's go to matte. Let's see if we can brighten up a bit, so it's not so dark. Or maybe make it rougher. There you go. It's a bit dark. It's a bit dark. That's fine. Cool, and now we need to adjust the lighting, right? So let's see that. Actually, this is not terrible. Let me see this one. This one's from the other side. So we will need to flip it to the other side for this to work. This is not terrible. We could pop a reflector here on this side. Make it larger and not as bright. Right. How are we looking? Maybe a bit darker. There you go. And Bob Joe Uncle. This could be a little bit lower, to be honest. So we can use the y-axis here. You can slide the camera up and down, just like a tilt shift lens, which is pretty cool. Give it a bit more ground here, and we could technically move it a bit to the left and move these a little bit further away, somewhere here. Okay, so then you got space for a logo here or whatnot, text, etc. And I think we're looking good. So let's render it. Okay, well, that's it for the tude. Thanks for watching. And if you would like to learn how to work with add-ons and work effectively, grab our course, The Ultimate Guide to Hardapps and Box Cutter 2.0, which is fantastic. It will teach you everything you need to know about add-on workflow, you know, all the cool stuff and how to work really efficiently in Blender. But if you're new to Blender, you should start with our basic course, which is the Hard Surface Accelerator. And this one will teach you everything you need to know about the menus, the tools, the hard surface idea, how to model, how to create better shapes. There's a whole section on principles of design, rendering, and more. So grab whichever you want. The links are in the video description and in a comment pinned under the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.